So when we thought about starting the Jazz Association about 4 years ago, we wanted to get together with some good friends, Albert Chu, Edmund Lam, and also Susan Tay, to put together an association to help to lift the level of jazz in Singapore. We thought that instead of just having an orchestra, we use this organization as a crucible to do these other things, which is to work in youth development, to have the two orchestras, as well as try to grow the jazz audience in Singapore. So I think to make Singapore a global city of jazz is a two-pronged approach. One is to make sure that when people from overseas visit Singapore, that they will be able to see world-class jazz and enjoy good jazz presentations. At the same time, we want to bring Singapore jazz to the world. So the Jazz Association Singapore Orchestra has actually gone to play in North America, in China, as well as in the United Kingdom.
My experience as a manager and a singer for JASSYO in our very first overseas trip was when we had to go to Shanghai, China for the JASSYO Shanghai Jazz Festival. We had to perform for 2 days, and it was a great experience. It was our first time as an orchestra, and we got to meet a lot of musicians in China as well as musicians from all over the world, as it is an international jazz festival. We had the opportunity to perform on the main stage to very amazing crowds, and it was a great energy between the audience and the orchestra. So I thought that was a really memorable experience. Another one of the trips that was very memorable was the Gen Conference in Reno, Nevada. We got to meet a lot of international artists, a lot of jazz educators, the musicians in the orchestra, as well as myself, got to attend a lot of the workshops and masterclasses, as well as star-studded performances all throughout the conference. It was another great experience, another experience for the local musicians as well as international musicians to meet and connect, and as a result I think that our orchestra now has a more complete network of musicians, and we can share ideas with one another.
Jazz forms a very crucial part of the ecosystem, right, of young musicians' journey from being starting as an amateur, then moving up to progressively moving up into the professional field. So under the Jazz Youth Orchestra, otherwise known as JASSYO, right, we do have a series of programs that help to encourage and to train these aspiring young musicians, right, to hone their craft and their skills and get better at it.
The starting of Lion City Youth Jazz Festival, we more or less emulated what was being done at the JASSYO Festival in Switzerland, where I still am an advisor. And basically, the whole idea of bandstand learning is what they are about. We've sort of veered away from it a little bit. And right now we are really enjoying having the experience of these great mentors coming to not only rehearse and working towards a concert, but also to do workshops for the public as well, besides the musicians.
Lion City Youth Jazz Festival is kind of an undescribable experience because you get to be in the room with masters, thanks to Jeremy and the whole team. Master drummers that came down. The first one was Louis Nash, and that was crazy. I got to follow Louis Nash while he checked in his hotel and all that. So he was like giving me advice, and like right from the moment I met him, he seemed like he would be a great mentor to have for a long time. Justin Faulkner came the year after, same thing, another master. The first thing he said to me and the other drummer, Raf, was no shyness, there are no wrong questions. We have to ask as many questions as we can. Even while he's playing, he's like, you see why I did that? Like these kind of things. And yeah, I think that's the most important. The biggest benefit is that you're there hearing the masters themselves talk about the music as the music is being played.
So this current COVID situation has been quite challenging for us jazz musicians across all the levels of the industry, from amateurs all the way to professionals. So at JASS, we have performed quite a number of live streams, right? in the hope to connect everybody together despite the current situation.
I started streaming from home and also with the support of the my jazz colleagues to reach out to the public to do firstly a sort of magazine style program and where there was some talk, some music, and also on Thursday nights we actually used to play a piano bar show where it's almost like having people come into my piano bar and I would play for them and sing for them and give them the experience of listening to live music even though it's streamed. And I think that's been very important for us. We went on to do some bigger presentations. For example, during the International Jazz Day, we broadcast to global audience, which included people who watched the International Jazz Day Facebook video and as well as the Straits Times, for example, who actually helped us also to proliferate our live stream so that it will be seen by a larger audience. And we got more than 100,000 views from all over the world. So I think that's very important that we are doing that as well and reaching out to people.
Singapore, oh Singapore, sunny island set in the sea. Singapore, oh Singapore, pretty flowers bloom for you and me.
Come along, join the song in merry singing. Blend our voices, join in the chorus.
Singapore, oh Singapore, pretty flowers bloom for you and me.
Jazz belongs to the whole world. I mean, it comes from the traditional of the Black American musicians, and that we can never take that away from them. But they've actually created an art form that's loved all over the world, and all over the world, people are making their efforts to make sure that jazz continues to thrive even through this difficult time. And here in Singapore, with the JASS Association Singapore, we of course will also want to be part of this mission to keep jazz alive and keep it growing, even as we go through this difficult time. So from our digital presentations that we live stream to across the world and finding ways to continue to collaborate with musicians overseas with our local musicians, going forward next year, for example, I mean, things will not be completely back to normal, so some of the things that we are intending to do will involve online participation and collaborations with musicians from Singapore and around the world.
Stand up for Singapore, do it with a smile. Stand up for Singapore, you find it all worthwhile. Believe in yourself, you've got something to share. So show us all you really care. Be prepared to give a little more. Stand up for Singapore. Singapore, our home and nation, together with determination, join in like you've never done